put it on me every single time. That pussy mine, you better put it out on me. Put it on me every single time. That pussy mine, you better put it out on me. Put it on me every single time. That pussy mine, you better put it out on me. Put it on me every single time. That pussy mine, you better put it out on me. Sorry, I just feel like singing. But yeah, CJAX dropped another video. I ain't gonna waste no time, man. We're not gonna waste no time, so let's go ahead and get started.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the worst Raws of all time, okay? Now, we have said that multiple times this year for Raw and for SmackDown, and that is because these have actually been some of the worst Raws and SmackDowns of all time. But thankfully, I'm shutting this show off about an hour before it ends, around like 10:30. I'm sure it's going to end. I shut it off around 9:30 it is, okay? And at the end of the day, this has to keep happening. I have to keep shutting these shows off earlier than catching up on what I missed on later on, because at the end of the day, this stuff sucks. Every single storyline makes no sense currently in WWE. You can go down the list and nothing makes any sense. The championships are meaningless. There's no long line of people who are actually fighting and gunning to win World Championship gold. You get random bad feuds. It's convoluted booking. Nothing makes sense. Nothing is entertaining. Hence why the first episode on Raw, this is another issue. This show that we just watched tonight, right? This Raw has no superstars and no top draws. You had Karrion Kross, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker. What are these jobbers going to do? Seth Rollins. Like, what are these people even doing anymore? They come out, they have bad gimmicks. For Rollins, it's just, hey, sing the music, revolutionary, visionary, sing the music again, get off the mic. That's all it is. This is not entertaining. This faction sucks. It makes no sense. None of this stuff is any good at all. There is a reason why when you started off on Raw and Netflix, this is global. There are hundreds of millions of people out there with Netflix, and only 2.7 million consistently tune into Raw because no one cares. You started off with 6 million worldwide. You can't even pull 2.7 now. You know why? Because the opening episode, even though it was mid, the fact is when you see people like, oh, that's The Rock, that's Roman Reigns, that's John Cena. You know, Triple H was opening it up. Cody Rhodes was on the show. Rollins was on the show. Punk was in the show. All of those people showed up, and it actually ended up working because you're like, oh man, I might tune in again, you know, because those stars are probably going to come back, and they didn't come back, and the viewership has tanked because those are the last era of superstars that have any actual gravitas or top draw ability besides Seth Rollins, okay? Obviously, there's a clear gap between guys like Cena and Rock, and then a gap between them and then guys like Roman, and then maybe Punk, and then there's a huge gap, and then it's like everybody else. That's what it is. You understand what I'm saying in terms of the current WWE? Obviously, guys like Orton and stuff like that are top draws too, but you get the point. This is just what it is. This product is absolutely unwatchable, and it is garbage. Anybody who tells you that Papa H is cooking, he's so creative, they're lying. Anybody who tells you that Triple H is a top tier booker and he's brought WWE back to prominence, they're lying. Anybody who tells you that Raw and SmackDown are consistently either solid or good, they're lying. Anybody who tells you that Triple H is a great long-term booker who can always build stars and make great PLEs, they're lying. This company is dying every week because Triple H is uncreative. Hence why you have the same collection of jobbers with Penta, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn fighting against Braun and Bronson Reed every single week. It's the same collection, the same people every time. And this show was unacceptable, and we're going to break it down and get through this as quick as possible because of how bad this is. And I just want to give you guys another thing real quick. Just remember, you know, if you watch any other era of wrestling, just remember when you would open up that show and you would see potentially like a Rock, you know what I'm saying, or an Austin, you know, or the more you get on in time, you know, you had guys like Kurt Angle, obviously John Cena, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, you know, Triple H, you know, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, right? Guys like that. And now you open up shows and you get Bronson Reed cutting a promo. You get Braun Breaker cutting a promo. And then you close it off where you would used to main event maybe with like a Batista versus, I don't know, Batista versus Rey Mysterio, for example, or a Batista versus Edge, or an Orton or a Cena, right? You end off now, you know what I'm saying, with Seth Rollins versus Penta. Just think about that for a second. People actually think that Braun Breaker is going to be the next face of the industry. Stop comparing this to the Evolution. You think Braun Breaker is going to be on the level of a dude like Batista? Stop. We started off with this copycat bloodline promo, but 10 times worse. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, basically Seth Rollins comes out there, he puts his hand out like he's Roman Reigns, accepting the mic from Paul Heyman. Then Braun Breaker, LeBron James. Braun Breaker grabs the mic and walks up into the camera and starts speaking about absolutely nothing. Again, we have to reiterate, this faction is a copycat of the Bloodline. They want to have two people who are the semi-lackeys, and the one leader being, like it was Roman, now they want it to be Seth, and then you have Paul Heyman playing the wise man character. This does not work, because anytime Seth has been given the reins to be the top guy on a show on Raw, whether it be Raw or SmackDown, mainly Raw obviously, he has not done a good job, because he is not that guy. I'm tired of seeing Seth Rollins come out here and yell into the mic for 15 hours about how he's the visionary and the revolutionary. It's not entertaining and nobody cares anymore. That is why when they gave Seth Rollins a Universal title back in 2019 and they had him be the top guy on Raw, it didn't work. It's a failure. Rollins has no idea how to be the top guy in any show ever. It doesn't work that way, and you know that. If Roman Reigns or Cena or Punk is not on your show instantly goes down in quality. That's just the rules of how WWE runs today, and it is what it is, okay? Now, we have a situation where they get on the mic, okay? Basically, this nameless faction is basically fighting mid-carders over and over and over again that have no belts. They're fighting with Penta and Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, three dudes who have absolutely nothing to their name at this current moment, but yet they're feuding with them. And we're supposed to be sold on the fact that this is going to be the future of the industry. Braun Breaker, aka Annoying Orange, goes out there with a just egregious spray tan. He looks like an orange. He goes out there and he says he has a vision of being the face of WWE for 20 years. That's what he said, that Rollins and Heyman, that's their vision. Now remember, Seth Rollins said that he is the future. Seth Rollins is the future. That's what Seth Rollins said about himself, okay? But he just sits back and listens to Braun say that he's going to be the next, the new superstar of the next 2 decades. It is embarrassing. Seth Rollins, nothing that he said while being on the mic during this nameless faction has ever come to pass, and none of it makes any sense because it's not going anywhere. We are witnessing one of the worst factions in the history of WWE, okay? We then move on from this. Braun Breaker has a, egregious voice crack and says there's no reason why anybody should ever respect Sami Zayn because, respect and love and care is essential because I respect you, I love you, I need you. You know what I'm saying? That's basically the situation with this, okay? Sami Zayn gets made fun of by Braun Breaker, and we move on. He says Sami Zayn is basically athletic and or unathletic. Sorry, he doesn't work out. And then basically Bronson Reed gets on the mic. Bronson Reed then gets out there and he basically says that he tsunamied Seth Rollins so much that Rollins had no choice but to respect, Bronson Reed. And so that's basically the situation there. I don't know what the heck this means. Again, you're the future of the industry, but you're talking about beating up a 40-year-old mid-carder. Braun Breaker beat Sami Zayn 2 times last year for the IC title. He pinned him in 5 minutes at SummerSlam last year, but yet he's still fighting with this dude a year later. But Triple H is creative, right? So he's not going to have the same dudes fighting time after time and again for the last year, right? Because he's creative. He doesn't do that. Triple H is above everything. Papa H. Cook, this is awesome, right? That's what it is. No, it's not. It's bad booking. Anyways, Bronson Reed then gets on the mic, embarrasses himself. He basically says that, that Seth Rollins now has to respect him, and that he needs respect from Seth, and he earned that respect, and now he's gonna make Jey Uso respect him. That just makes no sense. It's stupid, okay? Seth Rollins, the last time we saw him and Bronson Reed, they were fighting at Crown Jewel, and Rollins was doing curb stomps to him on a steel steps in the ring everywhere, and after the match, he was cursing at Bronson Reed. I don't know, you guys remember when Rollins was on the sideline on Crown Jewel, mouthing curse words at Bronson Reed, saying, what the F is wrong with you? But the point is, he said that, and now all of a sudden we fast forward, and now he has respect for Bronson Reed. It makes no sense, but Bronson Reed has no reason to be in this faction, so we have to just excuse our actual, we have to suspend our belief, or disbelief in this case, and act like it's okay, even though it's not. That's all Bronson Reed has to say. Paul Heyman then says Roman Reigns doesn't have the balls to show up. Roman Reigns probably just doesn't care. I don't know why anybody would want to show up and be associated with this faction. Why do you think all the top stars don't show up every week? Punk, Cena, Roman, why would they show up every week? Be honest with yourself. Why would anybody actually want to show up to this bad product booked by a fraud in Triple H every single week? Please explain that, man. And just as a quick side note, I've mentioned this a few weeks ago, I think about a month ago actually, when I was talking about this on one of my Raw reviews. I forget which one it was, but I was basically saying this. There is no actual reason when you really think about it. Why in the world, if you saw that this faction with Rollins and Brunson and Braun were getting, stronger and stronger, they teamed up at Saturday Night Main Event, etc., when they were fighting Punk and Sammy. Why would Punk, Sammy, Jimmy, Jey Uso, Penta and Roman Reigns not just team up and annihilate this faction effective immediately? Do you understand what I'm saying? This makes absolutely no sense. CM Punk's whole character is, basically screw the establishment. Sami Zayn's kind of the same way. He fights for the greater good no matter what, right? That's his whole babyface gimmick. Jey Uso's just there to yeet along and fight against, the bad guys. Same with Jimmy Uso, basically. And then obviously Penta's basically the same thing. And then Roman Reigns obviously the head honcho of it all. How in the world do all 6 of them not think, hey, let's team up and beat these 3 dudes? There's 6 of you, there's 3 of them, and 2 of them are jobbers. So why in the world not just go beat them up and move on immediately? But nope, we're going to book this badly. Nothing's going to make sense. So let's just move on. Even if Roman Reigns and CM Punk, because I know people are going to try and say, well, wait. Roman and Punk going to get along. You said that before Survivor Series in 2024. They got along completely fine and won the match, and that was it. You understand what I'm saying? There's no reason why this couldn't take place. On top of that, even if Roman didn't show up, it's still a 5v3 even without him. You can't take out Brunson Reed, who is an undercard jobber. You can't take out Braun Breaker, who is an IC champion. CM Punk's a multiple-time world champion, and Jey Uso was a world champion, and you can't beat up those 2 jobbers, and Seth Rollins in his 40s? This is what we're being told. This is what we're being given. This is the storyline. This is what they're telling us and showing us, not what I'm saying. So I just, again, it makes no sense. This is just bad booking, and this faction is insufferable. Now we move on. We get Kairi Sane versus Roxanne Perez. This was basically botchamania. That's all this was. A bunch of ridiculous botches, an extravaganza of bad wrestling, man. There were so many just incoherent moves, a bunch of botches, missed spots, just bad roll-ups. Everything about this match was absolutely disastrous, and it ended on a roll-up. If you saw this match, you know what I'm talking about. I counted at least 15 botches in this match, and I'm not even kidding. If you go back and watch this match from start to finish on Netflix, just count the botches from the start of the match to the end of the match, and you'll be able to get to around 10 to 20 minimum. So it is what it is. This is just garbage. Afterwards, Asuka comes out because Kairi Sane rolls up Roxanne and gets the pin. Asuka comes out and helps her fight against Raquel, and also Raquel had to hold up Asuka for a powerbomb and wait for Kairi to hit her in the gut, to get the spot over, and that was basically it. We're now going to have the Kabuki Warriors joining the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Championships at Evolution, which is a phoned-in and, effort, a pay-per-view that has no effort put into it by Triple H. They want to try and rival AEW with the All-In thing this weekend, and with Saturday Night Main Event, they want to flood out AEW this weekend. Therefore, they're trying to throw Evolution on. I showed you guys the report last Friday, basically saying the fact that woman talent backstage is upset about this because they're in a position of losing. The only reason WWE has this is because they want to have another show to fight against AEW's All-In show. This has no effort. There's no nuance. There's no creativity. There's no actual storylines put into this Evolution card. It's, hey, I want to make a show that rivals the other company. Therefore, I'm going to do this. There's no effort, and it's disrespectful. All the women's talents backstage, and you can't even give them a good card with good stories, with good builds and good feuds. You throw them out in meaningless and mediocre garbage builds and garbage matches. For what? For what? Rhea Ripley comes back out there talking about something. I'm going to take my title and never lost. Yeah? I don't give a crap. You understand what I'm saying? SmackDown and Raw have no effort. These PLEs have no effort. It's stinker after stinker after stinker. And I can't stop thinking about Punk. That's what this show is, and you have to start accepting it and be honest with yourself. Evolution is a phoned-in pay-per-view, or PLE if you want to call it that. That's all it is. There's no respect. There's no effort put into this garbage. Don't be surprised if there's no storylines on this show or if no titles change hands even. I wouldn't even be surprised if Rhea doesn't even end up winning. There's nothing here that's going to happen on this card that anybody cares about, so it is what it is.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, listen, I'm looking forward to, some of the matches on here, especially the Fatal 4-Way and the NXT match and the Triple Threat match with the IC belt. But every other match, it's like, dude, I'm good. But, I don't know, man. I mean, some people say that it's because of the ticket prices and Liv Morgan's absence. But some people think that they don't care about women's wrestling. But y'all can comment down below and talk about that. I want to ask the females, do you think it's because, men don't care about women's wrestling and that's the reason why they don't want to watch it because they think it's boring? Oh, y'all comment down below, let me know. I know the man gonna comment, but I'm just saying, I don't even know anymore, but I just hate that, that this is happening, but all we can do is, if it's optional, you can support it or you cannot, and I'll support it until it's time to go to bed. Now, I'll watch it until it's time to go to bed. But if I get too sleepy and I gotta get some sleep, I'm ending the live stream and I'm going to bed. I'm sorry. And then I'll finish up tomorrow. Because I need some sleep, dog. Seriously, I need it. But we'll see what happens. But I don't know. Hopefully I can at least watch the Fatal 4-Way. You know what I'm saying? And the what else the match? Oh, and Jesse Jane versus Jordan Grace and then what other match I need to see? Let me hold on. Oh, the triple threat match, yeah. That's it. And then everything else is like y'all can catch up on your own. But I'll come back. I'm just saying I don't know if I can watch the whole thing. Because All In is going to put me all out. You know what I mean? Put out. Sleepy sleep. You know what I mean? Go knock me out like NyQuil. You feel me? Because, All In going to go all in. And when they go all in, I'm going to be passed out. I'm going to tap out. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? And I probably won't be able to get up until 9 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's going to be so late. But it's all worth every penny. Versus with Evolution. It ain't worth the penny. But I'll watch 3 matches and the other ones y'all can watch it on your own. All right, I gotta go to bed. I ain't gonna stay up that way. Nope. I gotta get some sleep and I'm gonna get it on a Sunday. I'm gonna sleep on a Sunday. Wake up in the very day. Nah, I messed up the lyrics. Yeah, I'm gonna get some sleep. And I won't wake up until 9 in the morning. I'm going to go to sleep on a Sunday. Gonna wake up the very next morning. Gonna go to sleep on a Sunday. And wake up on a early Monday. Need a little work on that. All right. But yeah, y'all comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. What y'all think? Do you think this pay-per-view is going to flop? Just like Saturday night's main event. And I don't think NXT Great American Bash is going to flop. It'll probably get a B. But the other two definitely going to flop. I ain't going to lie. It's going to flop. Yep. But we'll see.
We then move on. Nikki Bella announces that she's going to be in the women's battle royal at Evolution, in order to get a chance at the women's championship at Clash in Paris. So that's basically the situation with that. Nobody cares. Let's move on.
It should have been the Bella twins, but they're playing.
Sami Zayn then basically comes out and he's essentially Superman. Speaking of Superman, I am going to be dropping my review on that because I'm going to see that movie tomorrow. So the review will either be out tomorrow night or the following day. So be prepared for that. Your boy is reviewing that Superman movie, but don't get it twisted. You understand what I'm saying? DC may be in shambles, but hopefully maybe the movie is great and we can get off to a great start of the new DC universe. But anyways, that's not the point.
Okay, I just want to stop the video real quick to let y'all know that Raquel got some new merch for the summer, dog. And it's black and gold. It's going down for real. Now, the price is not right, but hey, the shipping is free with the code on the bottom. So you already know if you got an extra 40, go ahead and cop this merch. Because this merch is on fire. And this girl is on fire. Raquel is off the scale with this merch, dog. And also the link is going to be on the bio, so you already know. Let's get back to the video. Raquelio!
The point is, at the end of the day, Sami Zayn comes out. He's apparently got hurt ribs. Karrion Kross attacks him yet again. And then Braun Breaker spears him 3 times. And then Sami is just pinned and that's it. Again, nobody cares about this. What does this further? Let's say that Sami Zayn got beat up by the lead pipe and then ended up pinning Braun Breaker. Or, we had the situation we got where Braun Breaker beat the crap out of him and that was that. What changes? Nothing. Nobody cares about any of this garbage. This furthers nothing. It advances nothing. It makes Braun Breaker look still weak because Karrion Kross is the reason that Sami's ribs are even hurt. Without the hurt ribs, Sami Zayn could have beat this dude. Because Triple H is that bad of a booker that Braun Breaker has to feud with a dude who he already beat twice clean last year. He now has to feud with that dude 5 different times in the span of 1 year because Triple H has no creativity and he can't build new mid-carders to upper-carders. So it's embarrassing, man. But let's just move on, okay? We then get, Becky Lynch comes out with Bayley and Lara Valkyria. This is easily one of the worst promos of all time. It's not entertaining, it's not engaging, it's not creative, and it's not unique. They say a bunch of lines that get basically no reaction from the crowd. And when the crowd's not reacting, a wrestler has to throw in a curse word here and there in order to get the crowd to finally react to anything.
Hey, I just want to let y'all know I am dropping a reaction video of this segment because I didn't really have an issue with it. So I just want to let y'all know that. I don't know when I'm going to drop it, but I just want to let y'all know I will be dropping it Tuesday. Be prepared for that because I will drop it. All right? So I just want to let y'all know that. But let's continue.
Thing. It's so cheap, it's phoned in, it's garbage. Bailey has nothing to say here. Lyra basically says that Bailey and Becky have become, bad friends. You're not a good friend. You're not a good friend. I don't appreciate you anymore, Bailey. I don't like you anymore, Bailey. You're not a good friend. Like, dude, grow up. What are these second grade storylines? And Becky Lynch brought up a great point in this promo. She said, how is it possible that two people who literally pinned each other last week get rewarded with a title shot? And it makes no sense. How in the world last week do you even count that pin? Jessica Carr's always looking around to see if the shoulder's down, but somehow both of them have their shoulders down and she's counting to 3 so we can force on a garbage triple threat that no one wants. This is just embarrassing, man. Every single storyline sucks on this show. You can't go without these storylines sucking. Every single thing you watch, you're like, wow, that doesn't make sense. Why didn't this person show up? Why didn't that person show up? None of this makes any sense, and you know it. This is an embarrassment of epic proportions. It just is. So I don't know what to say about this, man.
Reminder that I am doing a reaction video to this, so just want to remind y'all one more time before we get to the next. So remember, I will do the reaction video to that segment, so let's continue.
We then move on and we get Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed knows, basically this is what happened. Jey Uso yeeted for 10 minutes. Then after this, Bronson Reed basically, he took like 3 or 4 super kicks from Jey Uso. He got hit down with the announcing table chair. He got slammed on the announcing table. He got super kicked again and then no-sold it, got up in 3 seconds and tsunami Jey Uso twice and then walked away while Jey Uso was hurt. That's it. Remember, Jey Uso's the same person who after Money in the Bank, remember they tried to sell you on that rib injury he had and he was so tired and worn out, but then he proceeded to wrestle Gunther for the world title on Raw the following day. But Sami Zayn somehow isn't cleared anymore, but Jey Uso is cleared though to lose to Gunther. Makes no sense again. Also, Jey Uso, then proceeded to wrestle the Fatal 4-Way qualifier for the King of the Ring. He then wrestled Cody Rhodes and kicked out of multiple Cody cutters and multiple moves in that match from the top face in the company, but now he's knocked out after 2 tsunamis. Same dude who tapped out Gunther in 4 seconds, by the way, your world champion. That's just what we're doing. The booking is infuriatingly bad. How can anyone make an adjustment or try and make a reasoning for any of this stuff that I've critiqued this episode? How is it how can you defend this? This is indefensible. The booking sucks and nothing makes any sense. And it's also not entertaining. At the very least, with all of this garbage, maybe you can be entertaining, but we can't even get that. The only time you laugh or smile is you laugh at how bad the product is, and that's it. In all of this, you have to ask yourself, like I mentioned earlier on in the video, how is it possible that during this Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed match, that LA Knight, CM Punk, Jimmy Uso, Cody Rhodes, who's Jey Uso's best friend in the storyline, they made it a point of that for like weeks on end, telling us how great of friends Jey and Cody were, but Cody doesn't come out. Roman Reigns' cousin doesn't come out. No one comes out to help Jey Uso here. He just sits there and gets beat down by Bronson Reed. No LA Knight, no Punk, no Jimmy, no Roman, no nothing. He just sits there, gets beat up, and we move on. We then had Oldberg came out and basically confronted Gunther, okay? They had a little face-off. It was pretty cool. They had him roll up in a nice little car, and it was kind of like a surprise showing up or whatnot. He then got in the ring with Gunther and basically slapped the mic out of Gunther's hands, punched him in the face, and was about to go for a spear, and then Gunther rolled out of the ring, man. So it's just cool to see Goldberg. I mean, his career is going to be done in 5 days. You might as well just enjoy this segment and enjoy what we're going to get in the match coming up at Saturday Night Main Event this weekend. So I like Goldberg. Obviously he's not the best in-ring wrestler, okay? He's not a great or elite technical wrestler. I understand that, but, I like his gimmick. We all got to give some respect to Goldberg. You know what I'm saying? This is the only part of the show that I actually thought was actually entertaining or somewhat enjoyable. So there you have this segment, okay? Gunther walks out of the ring basically, looking like a little, what's it called, an afraid little kid at this point, in every single feud when he's been champion. Remember he had the whole gimmick where he was like scared of Damian Priest for a few months, and now he's afraid of Goldberg. So despite, calling him out a couple weeks ago, and now he's afraid of him 2 weeks later. That's why nothing Gunther says on the mic is really valid. valid. He got in a close match, a 50-50 match with Patrick McAfee. He got tapped out by Jey Uso. Now he was running from Damian Priest, and now he's running from Goldberg, who's like 5 days away from retirement. So Gunther is officially just getting buried week after week, but it is what it is. We then got El Grande Americano, aka Ludwig Kaiser now. You know, it was Chad Gable before, but now it's Ludwig Kaiser. And of course, you have a situation basically where, Ludwig Kaiser pins Dragon Lee. The fact that Dragon Lee, with his in-ring talents, all they can do is have him job out once every 2 or 3 months to randoms. It's just embarrassing. Nobody cares about this. The El Grande Americano gimmick is not funny. It's not cool. And to me, I find it not entertaining at all anymore. So I don't know why they're still doing this. But again, they have to give Ludwig Kaiser something to do because he's probably going to get released within the next year if this keeps up. So there you have it.
Hey, y'all want to see something cool? Check this out.
And then the final match, obviously, Seth Rollins versus Penta. Seth Rollins gets the dub, and then his lackeys, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, basically walk super duper slow to the ring. Even though Rollins called for them to come out immediately, they walk slowly to the ring, and then Rollins gets BFT'd by the man they call the Megastar, who's really just the man they call the Jobber now, because Triple H books him like a fraud and books LA Knight like a bum, even though LA Knight is world championship material. LA Knight comes out, hits the BFT, ends the show standing tall with everybody saying, "This Raw sucked." Yeah! You know what I'm saying? LA Knight deserves a lot better, but he's going to wrestle a nothing burger match at Saturday Night Main Event and likely get pinned in probably 10 to 15 minutes max, and we'll just move on. So Raw tonight probably gets like a 0 out of 10, maybe a 1 out of 10 for the Goldberg appearance, and that's basically it. One of the worst Raws ever. No need to waste any extra time with it. This was an absolute unmitigated disaster, and WWE is getting worse and worse and dying by the week. Thank you guys for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out, and one love.
That's okay, because we finna go all in this Saturday. So y'all make sure y'all tune in for AEW All In. If you have Amazon Prime, y'all make sure y'all get to that pay-per-view, because you know we finna go all in Saturday afternoon to all the way to midnight. God damn it, man. Sacrifice sleep for this great pay-per-view. But y'all get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share if you do. Tell me what you're watching this weekend. Are you watching Evolution? Or are you going all in? Or you watching Saturday night's lame event and Great American Bash from NXT? Now, you know me. I'm watching both. I'm watching NXT and AEW. But the rest, you know what I'm saying? Evolution, I'll half watch it. But if I get too tired, then, I'm going to have to catch up the next day because, I got to get some sleep. But, yeah. But y'all will catch me Saturday watching AEW and NXT, and we finna go all in. Because if you my little baby, I'll go all in. If you my little baby, I'll go all in. If you my little baby, I'll go all in. If you my little baby, I'll go all in. See y'all Saturday. Catch y'all next time. All right, I'm out.